Welcome to this month's meeting of the Disabilities and Conditions of Aging Network. I'm Jeremy Warner. You all know me. What some of you who may not have been on for a while may not know is that I have stopped doing outreach work and am now focusing all of my time on trying to make Walking Spirit actually a sustainable business, providing accessible DEIB consulting and support, also continuing to do inspirational speaking, and of course that every presentation is customized based on what the audience needs. And then I've also decided to offer a service, and really the intent is to get people connected to the resources that are there to help them faster. So a service for people with disabilities or families affected by disabilities to just do a 1-hour complimentary conversation about how you begin adapting your life. And it's a weird way to go, but if somebody wants ongoing coaching to meet with me on a regular basis, then I am offering up a fee for that. So that is what Walking Spirit is. And this network, though it was created while I was doing outreach work for Advocates Personal Care, which is still a great Medicaid waiver attendant care provider in central Indiana, this network, it made sense for it to come with me to Walking Spirit. So when that contract ended, that is what's taken place. And as I'm trying to get the right equipment in place and things like that, I will get better at communicating. Right now, I'm still having some challenges with big listservs and my email sending them out. So we're working on that. But so today is the day after the 33rd anniversary of the ADA. It's Disability Pride Month. I wanted us to be able to spend a few minutes talking about that. We are also going to continue the conversation that was started a couple months ago regarding suicide prevention and veterans and how that applies to the world of disability. And so today I really wanted to have more of a conversation that goes into that than necessarily doing the big roundtable that we usually do. So up front, to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves, their organizations, why they're here, what they're wanting to get out of the network, whatever that is, what things there are to celebrate that are going on in your organizations. I'd like to take a few minutes and I know it's preaching to the choir, but to talk about what disability pride really means and how we come together as a culture to really be able to share that pride. And I saw something on Reddit this week where someone was saying there is no such thing as a disability community, and that those words should not be put together because it's the Alzheimer's community and the amputee community and the burn survivor community. And guess what? All three of those things could cross over at any moment. And that's what our disabilities do with the global culture. And it's within the last couple of years that I've started to recognize that we really need to be representing ourselves as a minority, which is actually the world's largest and most exponentially growing and most diverse minority. So with that in mind, that's my pride in being a person with a disability has come from learning all of that and how that impacts the world, and the fight that went into getting us the civil rights protections that we have, which is really very much where I'm trying to take the accessible DEIB concept in the public sector of trying to change that view in the way that they approach their consumer base and their employee bases. So I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't developed or acquired a disability and then developed additional disabilities because I didn't know how to manage the first one. Thank you so much for all of you being here. I'm going to kick it to Susan Ferguson. Introduce yourself and maybe throw in that disability pride aspect.
Yeah, hi, I'm Susan Ferguson. I am with Accessibility. We are the Center for Independent Living in Central Indiana. Yeah, disability pride. So what comes to mind for me immediately is that I'm actually interviewing for a new independent living advocate position here at Accessibility this week. And it comes up in every interview conversation. And I can tell the difference in what disability pride looks like versus maybe not being proud of a disability. Many of the people I'm interviewing have a disability, and some choose not to disclose or to talk about it, and others come forward and say, I'm interested in this because I am a person with a disability and this is why. And so I think it's really interesting how some people still live in, this is not the right word, but safe group, I hope, then disability shame. Like, I'm going to try to hide my disability as much as possible and not tell people about it, versus the disability pride where like my disability comes with me and it makes me a better person, a better advocate, a better candidate for this position. So that's what comes to mind for me for disability pride.
Wonderful. Thank you. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to is working with you and Accessibility on bringing back to life an amputee support group in Central Indiana. That's been sorely missing since COVID took place. And it wasn't ever really, it was previously run by a prosthetist's office and they tried to stay very neutral, but that still wasn't really the appropriate way to go about that. And so thank you so much. When I reached out from your peer support service standpoint, you guys jumped right on it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so August 22nd, folks, at 6 p.m., we're going to have our first amputee support group meeting. If any of your consumers are amputees, please make them aware. Tell them to go to walkingspirit.org if they want to find more information, which I need to put out there. So that's not there yet. But okay. Sherry Moore, would you like to say hello?
Yes, hi, I'm Sherry, and I'm a resource specialist for Indiana Family to Family, and we are a merger of the former About Special Kids and Family Voices of Indiana. And we're the Indiana Health Information Center, as well as Indiana Parent to Parent Center. And so in our organization, we're all parents of kids with extra educational, healthcare, behavioral needs. And we work with families with similar children who are ages birth to 22 years of age. And we help to connect them with information, resources, supports, and to help them to navigate those systems from a place of having experienced a lot of those same things. And so our goal is to help them to feel that they're not alone and help them to access those services that are going to provide the support for their families. And one of the things that's upcoming in our organization that we want to make sure that everybody knows about is that we're going to be hosting our annual Heart to Heart conference on September 28th. And it's going to include a variety of topics of interest to families who are raising children with those additional healthcare, behavioral, and educational needs, and for the professionals who support them. So it's free. It's virtual, and it's going to be recorded, and it'll be available for about a month after the conference if you're not able to be there on that day. So we'd just like for everybody to consider joining us, and certainly feel free to share that information with anybody who might be interested in attending. And I will post that information in the chat, how to be able to access that.
Please do. Thank you for reminding me about the chat. If everybody would put your contact info in, and one question for the group for folks to chime in on as you go. If just let me know how you guys feel about me sharing your contact info with folks who have attended the meeting. Not sending it to folks who haven't been attending or at least haven't attended in a really long time. But we had a request last month for a contact list because that is easier for that person with their disability to be able to connect with folks, as opposed to trying to catch it in the chat or even get it written down during a session. So just let me know if you guys are comfortable with that. If you are, I'll start sharing that at least as requested, not necessarily every month, but because you guys don't need to be inundated with everybody's contact info. So all right, I'm just going across my screen. So Kendall Tilton, you want to say hi and throw in some things from Noble?
shut my phone off here. Okay. Bad timing. I guess I wanted to, I'm Kendall Tilden from Noble. We have a few things coming up. Our big 7th anniversary, our news crews are having huge expansion. So if you know someone that needs to work, particularly with intellectual or developmental disability, we're expanding at Lilly on our team. And our career center will be opening. But I also wanted to talk about the original topic here, the whole disabilities. Guess I'm going at it from a negative aspect in a conversation we had yesterday, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, those conversations happen, I suppose, but with our school program, with our kids that are working on career development in schools, trying to work with them, and there is a huge amount of, I'm going to use the same phrase, disability shame, and trying to work with that and having them work with them on a level that doesn't cause discomfort, but acknowledges that there's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's a very difficult line to walk.